Hi YouTube! I wanted to create a follow-up video to ServiceDog Vlogs, pros and cons of using a wheelchair. My pros for using a wheelchair are, 1, you can live with the symptoms of your medical condition and not have them inhibit you from day-to-day life, which includes going to work, going to school, going shopping, and even just being around the house. I personally don't need my chair at home, but I do need it in order to go to work, go shopping, and eventually when I go back to school to be able to attend classes. Second great thing about being in a wheelchair, wheelies actually feel really awesome. If you've ever skateboarded or snowboarded before, you get the same feeling when you pop a wheelie, and being able to use your balance and proprioception to hold the wheelie and being able to do it in the most random places, it feels really great. So that's another one. Third reason it's good to be in a wheelchair, I agree with the cushion. The cushion that you use for your wheelchair is an asset. It is probably the most comfortable thing you're ever going to sit on, and while I don't recommend sitting on it full time, definitely transfer out and sit on an actual chair if that's available, at an actual desk, on actual movie theater seats, or actual restaurant booths. I highly recommend you do that because you'll develop monkey butt if you don't transfer. Fourth great thing about being in a wheelchair, you go very fast. I agree, you go very, very, very fast. When we're closing the store that I work at, you're supposed to walk down the aisles and check to make sure there are no shoppers lurking. And I'm able to just zip right through, and my head will go boom, 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 trying to like get each aisle as I go by. I'll be like boom, 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 clear. So I'm faster than other people. Fifth great thing, being able to prove yourself, being able to, not being an inspiration, but to show people the things that you can do in a chair. You can push a shopping cart. You can work at a job. You can reach things that are high. You lock the brakes and you get up on the wheel and you reach, and then you just get back down. It's really not that complicated. Just being able to show people everything that you can do in a wheelchair, because you never know who you're running into. You never know if the person that's watching you is someone who is going to eventually be disabled, or has a medical condition currently, or is considering wheelchair use in order to improve their quality of life. And that would be my sixth reason for using a wheelchair. Quality of life has improved so much. If I didn't have my chair, the rare occasions on which I do get to spend time with friends, I wouldn't be able to participate as well. When I'm standing for too long, my symptoms come, and before they become dangerous, I get brain fog, and I'm not able to mentally engage with the persons around me, and it's pointless for me to be anywhere or to participate in anything because I'm not mentally there. I'm not able to participate because my body is struggling. Being in a wheelchair, because of the nature of one of my conditions, it actually mitigates the brain fog, and I'm able to go longer with less brain fog, and I can go longer with less symptoms and less of a sudden onset of symptoms. So my quality of life has greatly improved. I'm able to go shopping. I'm able to socialize with my friends. I'm able to think more clearly. I'm able to cope with my symptoms better. I'm safer when I collapse. I'm not collapsing from a 5'2" height. I am collapsing from, I would say, 4 foot, not even, like 3.5 foot height. And it's much safer. It's much safer, and the peace of mind that can offer. The seventh good reason for being in a wheelchair is that when you get to a point where you absolutely cannot help yourself, there are people who are kind enough to help. Personally, I don't like to be helped until I absolutely need it. But I know that there's going to be one day where I'm not able to navigate my wheelchair myself, or I'm so sick that somebody's going to have to intervene, and there are handles on the back of my chair, and they can help me. I guess I don't need any more reasons for why you should consider using a wheelchair if it's on the table for you. Definitely go for it, and go for it in the right way. There is a website, sci.rutgers.edu, and they have a forum for medical equipment, and there are great people there who can give you advice on what to look for, what DME supplier to utilize, and any red flags that you should be concerned about in your journey to getting a well-equipped and well-fit wheelchair. Cons for using a wheelchair would be maintenance. You have to maintain your wheelchair in the same way that you have to maintain your body. You have to hydrate yourself. Well, your wheelchair also needs hydration in the form of lubrication, and it also needs to be cleaned. It needs to be tuned up, tighten the bolts and everything, and sometimes parts break. You have to be willing to replace them, and so you have to be willing to have good knowledge on your wheelchair's anatomy and what to do to keep your wheelchair healthy so that you can stay healthy. Another con to using a wheelchair would be some ergonomic situations. The world is not created for wheelchair users. It's not. It's getting better, but it's not. So snow, ice, if that's not removed in time in the cities after a snowfall, you're going to have a hard time navigating. Some cities are old, and so very, very poorly constructed for disabled persons. We're talking 1700s out where I live. Some parts of our city are very, very old. Another con would be, oh yes, back to the ergonomics. Just reaching too much is actually very bad for your shoulders, especially because you're using your shoulders so much to push your chair, and you can develop tendinitis issues, carpal tunnel, shoulder issues, and so reaching too long is very bad. If you're in a situation like me where you work retail, it's very highly advised to try to focus on things that are lower. And I'm not saying for you to limit yourself, but to be wise. You have to be very, very wise. There's a lot of planning that has to go in ahead of time. You have to be aware of your surrounding situations that you are putting yourself into, such as if you're going to an amusement park or a museum or even the airport. It is very highly recommended to call ahead of time or to research online people's reviews of the place for accessibility, the website to see if they have a web page for persons who are disabled. Maybe it'll have a map of the elevators or areas that you might not be able to access whatsoever. And with the airports, the pat-down process that you're going to have to do if you choose to remain in your wheelchair for the security procedures. Another con to using the wheelchair would be if you don't have side guards, everything's going to get caught in the wheels. And that can be very inconvenient. That can mean water bottles fall out. If you have food on your lap, it's going to fall into the wheels. Like your lap is not a stable place. So you lose your hands. You lose your hands because your hands are busy and your lap is not a stable place. So you have to be very creative, and you have to be ready to make quick decisions. If your wheelchair doesn't fit somewhere or you get stuck or something's in the way, you have to be really quick at deciding, I'm going to back up and I'm going to go that way, or I'm going to go that way, I'm going to avoid that. I know how to deal with that. I know how to push this display. I know how to do... You have to be able to make decisions very quickly. I can't really think of anything else. I mean, cons, being short, you go unnoticed. Most people think that I randomly went on break at work, and it's like, no, I'm right here. Can you see me? Because I'm shorter than the displays. And people doubt you. People will try to help all the time because they underestimate your ability to care for yourself. Maybe at first when you're in a wheelchair, You may need help, or you may not have the confidence to do things yourself, but you can get over that threshold. You can get through that door. You can open that door yourself. You can push that shopping cart. You can lift that box. You can rearrange displays. You can do anything. You can do, if you need a wheelchair, you can do more in that wheelchair than you can do without. A pro that I forgot was using a wheelchair as opposed to a walker. People seem to accept the wheelchair more, and they don't look at you weird as being a young person using a walker or a rollator. It gains a little bit more respect, but the con is you have to be ready to answer the question, when are you getting out? When are you getting out of the wheelchair? Oh, I hope you get better soon. Or what happened? And many people, strangers, asking about your disability. And if you're not ready to talk about that or explain it, you don't have to be. But I highly recommend that you talk to somebody and you're able to talk it out with one person in order to develop a kind of script for you to use that you're comfortable with, because this is your personal business. So if you have a phrase set up for yourself ahead of time, it'll help in those awkward situations where people are essentially invading your privacy. And it is your choice to educate or to protect yourself. I mean, protect yourself, protect your privacy. So that's basically it. I hope this is a really good follow-up to Tatiana's video and ServiceDog Bugsy from the ServiceDog vlog. Thank you very much, and have a great evening.